Welcome to the Beachwood Business Compass Podcast, created by the City of Beachwood's Office of Economic Development with entrepreneurs and small businesses in mind. I'm Kathy Biederman, Economic Development Director for the City of Beachwood. At this podcast, our mission is simple. We connect local businesses with the tools, insights, and opportunities that they need to thrive. And by sharing success stories and offering expert advice and spotlighting community resources, we aim to empower Beachwood businesses to achieve growth, overcome challenges, and unlock new possibilities. Today, I am so thrilled to be discussing the upcoming Female Entrepreneurship Summit put together each year by founder Renee DeLuca Dolan. Not only is she the founder of the summit, but her own woman-led business, Contempo Design and Communications. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kathy, for having me. I'm thrilled to be talking about the summit again.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting. I was in a discussion yesterday where they were talking about the growth of women-led businesses. And looking into it a little bit more, I came across that the growth is really accelerating. And between 2019 and 2023, the number of women-owned businesses increased at nearly double the rate of those of men.
Wow.
And in 2025, 11% now of Fortune 500 companies are led by women CEOs.
So we're making progress.
It is incredible. It is. And I think, you know, a lot has transformed over the last several years when it comes to women putting more investment into their business and really accelerating it for growth. And I think one of the amazing things that I have seen over the years with the Female Entrepreneurship Summit is that it really is an empowering day for women business owners and women leaders.
Yeah, what we try to do in the day is we try to provide resources, education, and opportunities for networking and advocacy, because I think sometimes, women support women personally very well. But in business, I think we all sort of put our heads down and get to work, and we don't network as much as we should.
Absolutely.
And the Entrepreneurship Summit allows us to do that in one day and then continue those relationships as the year goes on or the years go on. I mean, there's people that I met at the very first summit that I'm still in contact with, either doing business with or having referred business. And it's just a really wonderful group of very professional, executive, caring, passionate women who really care about their businesses and their community.
Yeah, and here within Northeast Ohio, I give you credit because it's you who is bringing that dynamic group together. And when you talk about advocacy, there is so much support that is needed in terms of access to capital.
Right.
The connections for mentorship to really understand, you know, how to grow that business. And all of that transforms through the networks that you're bringing together.
Well, the two sessions that I'm super excited about this year, I mean, the programming is packed from 8 a.m. until 4, really. There's a few highlights for me. One is the AI marketing branding panel. I think what we have people from the corporate world, we have women who are AI experts and women who are creative in copywriting and PR, talking all about solo entrepreneurship, up to the importance of knowing who your target audience is, knowing what your voice wants to be, knowing what your brand looks like. Even if you're a small company, you still need to put a strategy in place, and you still need to have somebody there to implement it. I think sometimes in small business, we feel like, oh, marketing is an expense. But at the end of the day, marketing drives sales. So if you want to really grow your business, you have to have a strategy, and you have to know who your target audience is or who you want to target to. So that session I'm super excited about. Tracy Merrick is facilitating that. She was the vice president of communications and marketing at the Cavaliers.
Very cool.
For many years, and then went on to be the first female CEO at the USA Figure Skating Association in Colorado. She's back in Cleveland.
That is incredible.
And I think she's still looking for a job, but she's going to be facilitating with 3 other women. And then the access to capital, I just had a conversation with Ann Ritchie and Gloria Ware the other day, and Ann worked at Jumpstart. I think Gloria might have too, but Gloria is now an entrepreneur and a business coach. And just the resources that I think a lot of times we think of just traditional banks, which is great. We have Key for Women as our main sponsor this year, and they certainly support women. But there are a lot of other opportunities for funding. You know, there's angel investing, there's VC funding, there's grants, there's competitions, there's things that I just don't think that women realize. We have ECDI here in town.
ECDI, I was just going to mention, is an
the Women
incredible
Business Center.
opportunity to be able to understand how your capital package needs to be put together when you're looking at financing.
Yeah, in the old days, we were talking about this. You'd have a business plan that was like, 28 pages, and you'd go into a traditional bank and hope that they would have read it. And now I think it's more of what resources can you use? These competitions and these grants, there's a lot of them available, but I just don't think women know about it.
Yeah.
So Gloria and Ann are going to tackle that in their session.
That's incredible. And it's really, positioning your company and continuing to build on the messaging that you're branding and your entire portfolio, that it aligns with your core values and your beliefs and how you want to, transform the company going forward. And it's really interesting to me, as I've seen some of the past speakers that you've had, they have been dynamic speakers. When you talk about, some of the past ones that have come to be, I think back to even some of the role models that I've seen come on stage. You had Rent the Runway. Yes. I mean, that was an incredible dynamic presentation that had occurred, a number of years ago. And in that one, you had Cozy coming together as well.
We partnered with Cozy on their small business conference.
Yes.
And there were over 1,000 people at that event. That was really, really amazing. And those women have gone ahead. They actually split off. One of them sold her portion for millions of dollars. And the other one is still running the company. But it was just an interesting thing because you think of it as running dresses, but their model was built on logistics.
Yes.
Because, they have dry cleaning and they have all this inventory. And it was just so interesting to hear the behind the scenes. This year, our keynote is Julia Pilsmer.
Yes.
She's coming in from New York, and she wrote a book, $1 Million Woman. And her goal is to get 1 million women to have $1 million or more in revenue. And now her second book is Go Big Now. And she's going to talk about, she actually has a worksheet that we're all going to fill out with tactical information to help grow your business.
That is incredible. And I'll tell you, every time I go to the summit, and it's been quite a few years now that I've attended, and every time I go, I walk away and I almost need to take the next day to reconnect with the connections that I've made, to be able to spend time understanding their businesses and then understand, just from a professional standpoint, some of the knowledge and educational materials that you brought forth, because there's in any situation as a woman professional, you can take so much away from that day and be able to implement that in your own goals and objectives professionally that you're working towards.
And that's one of the things that I really tout the organization on, as far as the Entrepreneurship Summit, is being able to give people tactical tools and tips that they can use. The networking is great. The inspiration is great. But the education piece, if we're going to take a day away from our work and our families and go somewhere, we want to learn something. And I think that's the beauty of FES. Every year, people come back and say, oh, I met this person, or I connected with this person, or that day I heard the keynote speaker talk about AI and I've implemented one thing that changed my business. That was another thing when we had our call this week about the AI marketing panel, is how we all have to be very nimble and able to adapt to technology, because the marketing world is only going more digital, more technical, more data analytics, and that's super important in marketing now, to look at either you have a data source or somebody that can look at the data as you're doing these things to see if they're working, or you have to be able to educate yourself, or at least have enough knowledge to hire somebody to do it.
Absolutely.
So that's a big thing going on now in the marketplace.
And I even, looking at the profitability side and how you incorporate that AI and technology into your business world, it's really interesting to me as I hear now about how companies really have to position their websites very differently, their marketing materials very differently, so that as users are asking those questions of AI, ChatGPT and Gemini and some of these other ones, the information pertaining to their company is coming up in that search.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're being left out, as people are continuing to use those AI platforms a little bit more than they are even the Google as they have in the past.
Oh, yeah. No, it's exciting. That'll be an interesting
Absolutely.
session. And then Patrice Blakemore, she's a senior vice president of Equity and Inclusion at Greater Cleveland Partnership. She was actually my business advisor when I went through the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, administered through Tri-C. And she is doing an intentional networking session. And this is always rated in the number 1 or 2 of the day. We sit at a table, sort of like a speed networking, but each person has a couple minutes to say what they might need or want as a referral. And then you literally exchange little note cards. Here's a referral for you. And last year, a couple people needed some personal support, or one person wanted volunteer information. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm looking for a referral. So that's a great session, and that'll be at the end of the day.
I can't speak highly enough about that intentional networking. I mean, I've been to many networking events over the last several years, and there's so much opportunity to be able to connect. But when you do it intentionally and you bring the right question to the table and you direct exactly what it is that your business needs and what you're looking for in a client, and to have 8 or 10 women around you giving you leads back that you can take away is incredible and so valuable to and the networks, as I said, when you're bringing Cozy and some of these other organizations to the table, you have people in that room that have knowledge way beyond the scope of what any single business owner does. And so those leads that are coming back to you aren't just a lead that you can follow up for the business itself, but a lead that helps you grow your business going forward.
And because it's facilitated and it's timed and there's a table facilitator at each table, I think it's, like you said, it's intentional. It's not we're just sitting around talking about, family or community or businesses. It's very intentional, and you do leave with referrals and leads, and it's really a great opportunity. And we always do it at the end of the day before we do the giveaways and the happy hour, so it works out really well.
That's awesome. And when I look at the event itself, another key component of this has been the sponsors and the vendor tables that you have surrounding the summit itself. I've gained so much knowledge talking with them, and a lot of times they're incorporated into the speaking engagements as well. Who are some of those sponsors that you have this year?
Key for Women, Key for Women is celebrating 20 years this year, and they've been a supporter since the very beginning of FES because they also provide resources for women in business and advocacy and financial, obviously, they're a bank, resources, but also networking opportunities and events. And they're doing a session in the morning with 3 entrepreneurs talking about their successes, maybe their failures, what were their challenges, how did they overcome those. So KeyBank has their own session in the morning.
Very nice.
And they've been a sponsor, like I said, for years. Patrice Catan, she's been in business for many years, Catan's Bridal. And she's doing some things on her own now, and she's got a very interesting story to tell. Morgan Stanley Wealth Managers out of Pepper Pike, they're a sponsor this year. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption out of Columbus is sponsoring. Their CEO, Rita, she is very, very, she advocates for women in business. And I'm not sure if she's going to be attending, but they're sponsoring this year.
That's
so
wonderful.
Really excited about that. Valerie Mayen, from Yellow Cake Shop. She'll be selling clothes like she does every year. The Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District,
very nice.
is back on board as a sponsor. They had sponsored pre-pandemic. And then Digital C. They provide just in the city of Cleveland, low-cost internet. I don't know if you've, they are one of our clients at Contempo. We've done some marketing work for them. So they're sponsoring as well. And I think there's a few others that I'm not.
Yeah, and sponsorship opportunities are still available.
Sponsorship opportunities are still available through the end of the month. Early bird tickets are on sale right now, $50 off. Sponsorships start at $1,000. You can buy a table of 8 and get a table in the sponsor showcase, which is what people really seem to be excited about, so they can network during the day in their own separate area. And then there's different sponsor levels that come with different opportunities throughout the day.
That's fantastic. And I've always, as I talk with business owners and women business owners here within the community, I just emphasize how it really is a day to refocus your mind almost set the strategy. It's right before, the fall comes where you're going into budget season and everything else. Reset your strategy for the next year and really take that time to define where you want to go and the key objectives that you want to fulfill, because the networks are there in the room to be able to enable you to fulfill it. So I'm really excited about this year's summit. I'm looking forward to it. I give you kudos for all of the amazing work that you do in bringing this together, because I know it is so much work putting it together. And I will say that this summit, I've never seen anything like it. And here in Northeast Ohio, to be able to have this and continue to build and empower women-owned businesses is phenomenal. So I hope that you'll continue it going forward and look forward to many other opportunities to come that may spin off from the summit. How would somebody go about getting tickets for this year's summit or consider sponsorship?
Yeah, so sponsorship, they can contact me directly, Renee at contempocleveland.com. Or through LinkedIn. And then the actual ticket sales are on Eventbrite.
Okay.
So it's an Eventbrite link. If you just type in Female Entrepreneur Summit 2025, you can get to the tickets. And I can certainly send you a link if we, want to post that for the audience. That would be great. But I also want to say thank you to you for being so supportive of the event and being an advocate and, always showing up and networking. And it's been a great opportunity for us to connect all these years as well.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
Yes, and I do as well. And I look forward to seeing more connections there and meeting new women. And it's been inspiring. And I've had lifelong, friendships with some of the women that I've met there. So I really enjoy it.
I hear that over and over again. And I think that's what keeps me coming back every year. Because every year I say I'm not going to do it again. Because obviously it's not my core business. But I do really enjoy the networking and the opportunity that day brings. It's very special.
It is very special. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today. That will conclude our episode of the Beachwood Business Compass podcast. I encourage you to visit our website at Beachwood's One Stop Resource Center for more information about the upcoming summit.